Maybe 2025 didn't turn out the way you expected. Maybe you began the year with plans, intentions, and clarity, and somewhere along the way, something slowly wore you down. Your mind became tired, decisions felt heavier, and the feeling of trying, without truly moving forward, started to settle in. If this feels familiar, take a slow breath with me now, because before you assume that you failed, lacked discipline, or weren't enough, there's something important to understand. Not everything that didn't work in 2025 was a failure. Often it was simply a sign that you were trying to create the future from an internal state of confusion, exhaustion, or emotional pressure. And that's far more common than people admit. Most people try to change their lives while they're stressed, while they're overwhelmed, while they're emotionally depleted. They try to turn things around when they're already at their limit, and then wonder why nothing truly shifts. But life doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to internal alignment. You don't create the life you want by thinking about it alone. You create the life that reflects how you feel on a daily basis. When your inner state is scarcity, you notice lack everywhere. When it's fear, you see risk everywhere. When it's confusion, even opportunities pass unnoticed. So maybe the biggest block of 2025 wasn't external at all. Maybe it was internal noise. And here's something essential to recognize. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about clarity. You can't build a new direction from confusion. You can't hear intuition while the nervous system is in survival mode. And you can't create coherence while your inner world feels fragmented. That's why nothing truly changes when we only want different results, without changing the place inside from which we're living. Real change begins when we shift who we're being, not just what we're chasing. For many people, 2025 was the year this truth became unavoidable. Not because it was easy, but because it revealed what no longer works. So many people try to change outcomes without changing identity. They want abundance, but feel unworthy. They want clarity, but live in constant self-criticism. They want peace, but remain mentally tense all day. They want ease, but carry guilt, comparison, pressure, and fear of repeating old mistakes. And that's exhausting. When emotional fatigue sets in, the mind loops. Thoughts circle the same patterns. The body tightens. And intuition, which always knows the way, gets buried under noise. Clarity cannot be forced. Clarity emerges when there is space. So take a moment now and honestly acknowledge what didn't work in 2025. Not to judge yourself, not to replay mistakes, but to stop carrying it forward. Maybe it's time to release the need for total control, or the habit of constant comparison, or the belief that I should be further along by now. The past doesn't need to be erased. It simply needs to stop occupying space inside you. There's a specific kind of freedom that appears when you stop fighting what already happened and start using experience as wisdom, not as a prison. Ask yourself gently, what are you still carrying that has already expired? An old regret? A repeated story? A frustration that became part of your identity? A promise made to a version of you that no longer exists? Closing 2025 consciously means this: removing the past control over the present, and now comes a powerful shift for the year ahead. It's not just about thinking about the future, it's about feeling the future before it arrives. Because your emotional state functions like a frequency, like a signal. You don't manifest only what you want. You manifest what you consistently feel. If you enter 2026 carrying fear, fear patterns tend to repeat. If you enter with urgency, urgency shapes your decisions. If you enter with self-pressure, pressure becomes the tone of the year. But when you enter aligned, something changes. Your perception shifts, your posture shifts, and opportunities begin to meet you differently. Because you stop living in defense mode and start living in presence. This is where gratitude becomes powerful, not as a spiritual cliche, but as a real internal tool. Gratitude shifts the nervous system faster than almost anything else, not because the universe demands it, but because your mind and body move out of threat and into openness. You begin to notice possibilities. You begin to feel more internal space. So before this video ends, I want to offer something simple. For a few moments, find one small thing you can appreciate. It doesn't have to be big. Being alive, making it through the year, learning something difficult, surviving a year that asked more of you than you expected. Because when appreciation appears, even briefly, the heart opens slightly. And when the heart opens, the future finally has somewhere to land. Now, practically speaking, 2026 doesn't begin with massive goals. It begins with a clear identity. A simple question helps. Over the next 12 months, I am becoming the person who cares for their mind, the person who acts with courage, the person who respects their own rhythm, the person who builds with consistency, the person who doesn't abandon themselves. And then comes the final step. One bold, imperfect action. Not waiting until you feel ready. Not waiting for certainty. Just one real step, even small, because life responds to movement. If it feels right, do this tomorrow. Take one simple but courageous action that your future self would be proud to see. Small, but honest. Now allow yourself to simply remain here for a moment. There is nothing to fix, nothing to prove, nothing to resolve right now. Feel the weight of the year slowly dissolving, as if every experience is being placed where it belongs. You don't need to carry 2025 across the threshold of 2026. The learning stays, the weight does not. Imagine your mind quieter, your body softer, your heart less guarded. This isn't about controlling what comes next. It's about being available for what comes next. When you align internally, life begins to cooperate externally, not through force, but through coherence. Stay with this feeling for a few seconds. This is the ground where something new begins. And to gently seal this moment, if it resonates with you, write this in the comments. I release 2025 and enter 2026 aligned. May this new cycle begin lighter, clearer, and more true. Be prosperous from the inside out.